I'm Bill.
I'm Ted.
And welcome to Bill and Ted's Excellent Wine Adventure. The other day we were speaking to Matt Soraci. In fact, we did an interview with Matt on the phone.
We did. Yes, we did.
And we were able to capture that on Skype, and we recorded that. And what we did is we talked to him. Matt Soraci actually works for Cline Cellars and Jacuzzi Wines, and we kind of talked about that, and he gave us a lot of interesting information about those two wineries. Those two wineries actually kind of work together in a lot of the same ways. But we had some questions for him, and we thought we'd put this on a video and put it out to all the wine members, and hope you enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, Ted, by the way, can you play air guitar?
No, I can't play air guitar.
You can't? Okay.
I can't. I'm not a very good job.
You'll work on that next time.
I'll work on it next time.
Okay. All right. Well, and here's us with Matt Soraci.
I realize in the upcoming clip that you only see half of Ted and I as they're interviewing Matt. I think I caught my best side, though. Hope you enjoyed the interview.
Matt Soraci, welcome. Thank you for taking our call today and tell us a little bit about Cline Cellars and Jacuzzi Wines. Ted?
I've worked with you for about 7 or 8 years, Matt. Just let the people know you work from your home, most of the time work from your home, but you work for Cline and Jacuzzi. Give it a little bit of your background and how did Cline and Jacuzzi get started as wineries?
Well, sure. I've been with Cline now for 4 years. So I had my 4th anniversary about 2 weeks ago. I'm a regional manager. I'm based in Chicago, so I cover 7 states, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and North and South Dakota. So I have the really good territory in the winter. I have been in the wine business for about 12 years now. Prior to Cline, I worked for a small import and distribution company based in Chicago. And prior to that, I tried to be an actor. And I obviously wasn't a very good one, so I ended up in sales. Cline and Jacuzzi started back in 1982. Fred and Nancy Cline are still the two main, they're still the same owners, so we're single ownership. And it started kind of out of Fred's passion for agriculture, and coupled that with some of the family history that he had on the jacuzzi side of his family. Allowed him to open the winery after finishing up at UC Davis back in 1982, like I said.
Okay. What style of wine does Jacuzzi make? They make an Italian style. How and why did that get started like that?
Well, the Italian style, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. What we do at Jacuzzi and at Cline, our winemaker Charlie Sigalettos, his style of winemaking is pretty much to let the grapes dictate how the finished wine will taste. So whatever we get from the vineyards in any given vintage is pretty much what you're going to find in the bottle. And we're farmers as well as winemakers, so we have we're active participants in the farming aspect of the majority of the grapes that go into the wines. In Jacuzzi itself, the winery was finished in 2007. And Fred Cline built it as an homage to the family Italian heritage of the family, because Jacuzzi is his grandfather's last name, so his mother's father's maternal, her maiden name. And the Jacuzzis emigrated to the States in the early 1900s, eventually settled in Oakley, California, in Contra Costa County, which is the site now of our ancient vine program, where the average age of the vines are 80 to 100 years old, so it's some of the oldest vines in California. And then, like I said, Jacuzzi was built in 2007, right across the street from Cline, and we produce basically every Italian varietal that's grown in California. So the grapes, their origins are in California, in Italy, but we produce them in California, as well as some estate-grown varietals like Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Merlot. We do everything from Barbera to Primitivo to even a Sagrantino, which is a really obscure grape from the middle of Italy. So it's an interesting project. Really good wine, small production.
So if you're growing Italian grapes in California, how does that differ from, say, grapes and the wine made in Italy?
Well, Genetically, they're the same, obviously, but it's the microclimate in which they're grown. So, our Barbera that's grown in Piedmont will have a completely different soil structure, flavor profile than a Barbera grown in Lake County or in Mendocino County, for example. So technically, they're the same grape, but they have different flavors. California Barbera, for example, will tend to be a little more fruit-driven, fruit-forward. They both will still have, a good acidic backbone, really good with tomato sauces, good everyday wines. But there'll be a distinct difference of that you can in the terroir, and that shows through in the finished wine. And that's true of whether it's, Italian varietals grown in California or whether it's Cabernet grown in Bordeaux versus California.
What grapes does Jacuzzi Wines grow?
Well, around the Jacuzzi winery, we grow Merlot, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and we do grow, I believe, a little bit. No, actually, those four are the estate varietals that we do: Chardonnay, Pinot, Merlot. We grow a little bit of Cabernet, but it's not enough to actually produce on its own. Yeah, and that's it. Little Pinot Grigio.
Okay. Now, Jacuzzi is an organic wine. What exactly does that mean, and what does that mean to the wine itself?
Well, technically, both Jacuzzi and Cline are not actually organic wines. We farm sustainably.
Okay.
We don't go through. We haven't gone through any of the official certifications to be organic or biodynamic.
I was speaking to someone about that, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through to get that certification.
Exactly. But we do, like we mentioned, we do farm sustainably. We call it the green string farm way, mainly because there's a farm that Fred is a partner in called the Green String Farm, and our main vineyard manager, a gentleman named Bobby Kennard, who's a partner with Fred in the Green String Farm. He's kind of developed this sustainable farming method. We use a lot of volcanic material in the soil. One of the coolest things we do actually is we have a herd of sheep and goats that go through the vineyards a couple times a year, obviously when there isn't any grapes on the vines, but they go through basically all of our vineyards. They eat everything, they fertilize along the way, and it saves approximately 10,000 machine hours each year, which is pretty cool, and actually make for great pictures.
And
those actually I look forward to.
There are no true organic grapes out there, are there? Any organic wines? True organic. There are no true organic wines out there in California.
I can't speak to that. I know for us we don't. I don't know for sure if that what you're getting at with that.
By true organic, I mean they don't add sulfite to the wine before they bottle it.
Oh, I think there are some wineries that don't add sulfites. We don't add sulfites.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jacuzzi makes
sulfites are all wines have naturally occurring sulfites.
Right. Now, Jacuzzi makes blends. What are the blends, and why do you make blends?
Well, the blend, we actually have a couple with Jacuzzi. The main blend is the Valeriano, named after Fred's father, and it's a crazy blend. I mean, it's Cabernet, Barbera, Merlot, a little bit of Malbec, Petit Verdot. We make the blends primarily because it's what customers want. Customers like kind of the flavor profile sometimes that these blends offer them. Traditionally Bordeaux's are always a blend, so that there's history there in terms of customer taste and appreciation for blends. And some of it sometimes is just a way to get rid of some of the grapes that you may have left over.
Okay.
Not always the case, but when you can find a consistent flavor profile, it works well.
You said that Cline Cellars started in 1982. Well, how are they different from Jacuzzi wines?
Well, it's the same family. So, like we mentioned before, Fred Cline, his maternal grandfather, was a gentleman named Valeriano Jacuzzi. So when the winery when Fred and Nancy took the winery commercial in 1982, they established it as Cline Cellars, Cline Cellars Winery. Then I believe maybe 10 years later or so, Fred started to make a couple Jacuzzi wines in the Cline facility, like a Jacuzzi Zinfandel, I believe it was originally. It was just one or two wines under a Jacuzzi label, like I mentioned before, as kind of a tribute to his family and the history of the Jacuzzi family. And then in 2007, when they opened the Jacuzzi winery, he took it to the next level by actually having a separate facility with a whole different program, its own tasting room, its own set of vineyards around it. And as you mentioned before, we're not organic, but we are solar powered in both wineries. Both Jacuzzi and Cline are completely off the grid, 100% solar powered.
What is that? What exactly does that mean? Off the
It
grid
means
solar
that
power.
for Cline, if you see an aerial picture, which if I remember, I'll send to you, an aerial picture of the winery, you'll see on top of our big winery facility, it's all solar panels. And this was, I believe, a government-sponsored program from the mid-2000s where there were some tax benefits to do it. So Fred made the initial investment, and it basically takes us completely off the grid, so we don't buy any of our electricity. In fact, at this point, when we have an excess, we actually sell some of it back.
Okay. What grapes does Cline Cellars grow?
Well, we're known mostly for Zinfandel. Red Zinfandel is the grape that pretty much pays my mortgage. But we also grow a lot of Syrah. It's Fred's true love of a grape. Syrah is by far his favorite grape. Grenache, we grow Mourvedre, Carignan. We grow a lot of Chardonnay, Merlot, Pinot Noir, Pinot Gris, Marsanne, a little bit of Roussanne. We grow a lot of different grapes.
What kind of wines do you make out of those?
Several different. For Cline, we have a whole line of Rhone varietal style wines, as well as cooler climate Sonoma Coast varietals like Chardonnay and Merlot. But Viognier has been our flagship white wine for a number of years. Our red Zinfandel, our Cashmere, which is the red blend under the Cline label. It's Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, and in some vintages we add Petite Syrah to it. We also have a Marsanne Roussanne wine that's winery only. We've got several different single vineyard Zinfandels. Yeah, we do a number of different types of varietals.
Who are the Rhone Rangers?
The Rhone Rangers, they were a group it's a nonprofit society established to promote California Rhone varietals. So varietals that are grown in the Rhone Valley in France that are also grown in California. So Syrah, Grenache, Mourvedre, even Petite Syrah, even though it's not necessarily grown in France anymore, it was created in France, so it is considered a Rhone varietal. So that group was established to promote and advertise and be advocates for those great varietals.
The Cline Cellars and Jacuzzi are pretty popular. What is the popularity? What brings out the popularity of these two wines? Why are they so popular?
I think it's a combination of the fruit that's in the bottle. We have a consistent flavor profile. We're fruit driven in both the reds and the whites. So it's what's in the bottle coupled with the fact that we have a good value proportion. Our price points are not crazy expensive. The wines are affordable, and yet they're also not they're not too inexpensive either. We straddle the line very nicely in that regard. And I think the fact we've been around for 32 years, people have there's a consistency of product and a name worthiness, a brand equity. I think we have established over time. That helps.
What are your best wines? Be it Jacuzzi and Cline. What are your best wines?
Well, that's a little subjective.
Well, I know, but it is.
Our best sellers for Cline are our Ancient Vines Inn,
Right.
our Lodi's Inn, our Cashmere Red Blend, and a new wine for us, our Pinot Noir, our Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir, are our main varietals from a selling point of view. I particularly enjoy drinking the Ancient Vine Mourvedre and the Ancient Vine Carignan, just because they're a little bit more obscure, a little full-bodied, rich. Jacuzzi, I believe our Barbera is, from a trade perspective, meaning outside the tasting room, is our most popular wine. In the tasting room, I'm not sure, but I know the Valeriano blend does very well as Pinot Grigio. The The Dolcetto performs well.
I will tell you that the Ancient Vine Zin is going to be our feature wine this month. We're going
Great.
to feature this. So, talk about the Ancient Vine Zin, what that's all about, and why it's so popular.
Sure. It's a pretty neat part of California wine history and our history. Contra Costa County, where our Ancient Vine program is located, specifically near the town of Oakley. It's where the original Jacuzzi family ranch was. It's also where Fred bonded the winery in 1982. But it's home to some of the oldest vines in California. The average age of these vines are 80 years old, with the oldest ones reaching close to 120 years old. The other interesting aspect of this area is these vines are they're head trellis, so they're allowed to grow up and over, kind of like trees. They just like little stumps, little gnarly old stumps, and they're grown along old riverbeds, so they're literally grown in sand. And what's unique about this is phylloxera, a little pest that destroyed vineyards in the late 1800s, caused a worldwide mess, can't live in sand. So these vines have never been grafted. It's one of the few places outside of Chile and a few other pockets in the world where this is true. So it's a pretty unique, unique aspect of the grapevines and the wines from out there.
The last question I've got is, Jacuzzi and Cline, they give back to the community. Give me the way they give back to the community as far as your wines are concerned.
The two major ways we give back is with our cashmere lines.
Right.
So we have a cashmere white and a cashmere red. Cashmere white's a fairly new project for us. We introduced it about a year ago now, and it's a white blend, primarily Chardonnay and Pinot Gris. We have a partnership with the Volunteers of America organization, and they have a wing or a part of that charity that specifically deals with Alzheimer's. So we donate $25,000 to the Volunteers of America for their Alzheimer's program. And that's a yearly donation. It's not based on sales. And then we have their purple ribbon on the front label. And then Cashmere Red has been a more established brand for us. We've had it in the market for 8 or 9 years. We have a partnership with Living Beyond Breast Cancer. Again, it's a $20,000 donation on a yearly basis. In the 8 years we've had Cline Cashmere Red in the market, we've donated over $270,000 to various breast cancer organizations. We ship the wine in pink boxes in October, and we have the ribbon on the front label year-round.
A couple final thoughts from you, Matt. What's the future for Jacuzzi and Cline Cellars?
Well, the future for Cline in particular, I think I mentioned our Pinot Noir and our Merlot and our Chardonnay. It's a brand new tier of wines for us. We've always grown them, but we had primarily sold most of this fruit in the past. And then in the last 12 months, made a decision to develop these labels and sell them under our own name. So Cline Pinot Noir, Cline Merlot, Cline Chardonnay will all be under this new Sonoma Coast tier that we've created. We've gone through a label change as well with Cline, which I think we'll see but when we come down for the tasting. You'll see the new labels. We hadn't done it in 11 years, and I think it's a nice change for us. Mm-hmm. Jacuzzi, I think you'll see pretty much just a lot of organic growth with the wines that are already established. The tasting room does an incredible job of promoting and selling those wines out of California. In the trade, it's a little bit smaller than Cline, actually a lot smaller than Cline. So there's some opportunity for growth, with the trade outside of California. But we'll see. There might be a label change in place for Jacuzzi as well. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. So what are you doing on the 19th of this month?
I'm coming down and visiting with you guys. I believe we've got a nice night in store, a tasting. You should actually tell me what I'll be doing. I know I'm leading a discussion and a tasting, correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Okay.
Matt's going to be talking about the wines because we're going to have a all Cline Cellars wine tasting for the Crystal Garden Wine Society, and Matt's going to be there, and he can answer all the questions that you might have, and we think it's just going to be wonderful.
It is. Well,
We usually have Ted who just talks endlessly, but with Matt there, it's going to be fun.
I know.
Well, Matt, we want to thank you for spending some time with us today, and we look forward to having you come down on the 19th and share your knowledge with all of the Wine Society members.
Looking
Well,
forward
thank
to
you
it,
very
Matt.
much. I look forward to it too.
See
All
you.
right. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was interesting about
It
Cline
was.
Cellars.
They're both very good
Jacuzzi
wineries. They're right across the road from each other. They do a very good job with the wine, but each one makes a different wine. They really
Right.
do.
Well, this coming up wine tasting, which is going to be October 19th, 2014, actually we're going to be having Cline Cellars wines at the tasting. Now, as of right now, it's full.
September 19th. It's October 19th.
Okay, let's do it September 19th.
September 19th.
But actually, the tasting is full now. And it just filled up real quickly. But you know what? If you're able to watch this video all the way through and listen to us talk at the end, if you would like to have a tasting with Cline Cellar wines, which are actually really, really good wines, and if you like to try those out, we might be able to schedule a second wine tasting in October.
October.
Not September, but October. Okay.
Give us a call if you're interested.
Give
in
us a
that.
call, or else actually just drop me a line, send me an email to say that you would like to do that, and Ted and I can figure out a date that might work. And if we get enough people,
Right.
how many people do we need?
I'd like to say at least 12 people.
At least 12 people. Then we can have another tasting. Now Matt probably won't be able to make it,
No.
but we'll have to put up with Ted.
We can
One
put
more
up,
day.
put up with me. That's not.
Or one
Yeah, I
more
guess that's
tasting.
okay.
That's okay. But also, what do we have? Also coming up, we have a premier wine tasting. What date is that, Ted?
October 24th, and the wines will be on probably internet within a week and a half, 2 weeks. I just picked out the wines this afternoon, so they're all going to be in that probably next week or so.
Okay. I'll have another Sign Up Genius set up for that. So if you're interested, please sign up. And again, it's as in the other premier tastings, it's going to be a 3-bottle minimum. But I think that's going to be fun too. But I'm looking forward to having Matt come down. It's the first time we've ever done that.
It is, and Matt's a good guy. He works. I've worked with him for about 4 or 5 years now, and he knows his Cline Jacuzzi wines. He does a very good job with them.
Okay. All right, good. Well, that's it for this time. And you can also read on the newsletter that I sent out that you got this link from about the premier, or not the premier wine, but the featured wine that Ted has coming up for this tasting, coming up on the 19th.
Right, it's their Ancient Vine Zin, and really, their Ancient Vine Zin is the most popular wine coming out of Cline right now. It's really a great Zin, it really is.
It's got a nice flavor to it. So, all right, any questions, give us a call. Otherwise, let us know if you can't make this tasting or you weren't able to get signed up for it. Let's see if we can do another one.
Right,
All right, and this is Bill.
and Ted.
Thanks for watching.